I will see you
play.
guys
See, it
later.
says record.
We don't need all the tables of 10 because the first table was table 10.
But I think you'll get the idea. All of you, as consumers, when you turn on the TV, read the newspaper, magazine, radio, you all are bombarded with marketing messages. Stand over here, Mr. Assistant. Right there. So, you're probably familiar with the Apple computer brand, right? Everybody knows what an Apple computer is? I know there's somebody out here who's a big Apple guy. Chevrolet, everybody knows what Chevy is. Jeff Gordon fan out there somewhere, I'll bet. Nike, got to be a Nike fan out there. Playboy.
All right.
You know that?
Never saw that.
America Online, everybody knows AOL. And did you guys ever hear this one? Red Umbrella Travelers? So, during the course of any day, night, weekend, whatever it is, you as a consumer, take yourself out of your mindset of a business person and put yourself in the mindset of your customer, your insured. You all have insurance. And imagine that, just turn towards me. Imagine that you are watching television and you're bombarded with all these messages, right? You see a traveler's ad, a Nike ad, and all of a sudden, the example there is out of all those ads, you can only retain one, maybe two. You're really good. Three. Yeah, right, exactly. So I said it was going to be a little hokey, but you get the idea. And the importance of that is that, yeah, there you go, thanks. Big hand for John. The importance of that little exercise is that when you create marketing and advertising, it has to cut through the clutter and the noise that consumer marketing creates. We looked up a statistic. I think there was $287 billion spent on consumer marketing and advertising last year. So, needless to say, what you create can't be expected, can't be run-of-the-mill, it can't be average. So, with that, hi guys.
Yeah, sure.
Colin gave me a little understanding of who we are, what we do. We were voted one of the top 50 B2B agencies in the U.S. by B2B Magazine for 2003. So by credentializing ourselves, I think we kind of know what we're doing.
We were also voted most modest.
Yeah. Colin mentioned to you that they did an agency review and they selected us somewhere around May, and that we did our strategy and planning session. Subsequent to that was the presentation in July. And he mentioned that, well, he did mention that we actually helped promote the 20th anniversary party recently, and the 3 bullet items you see there are all wire services that picked up that press release, which is good. I want to give you a little taste of the agency, and hopefully the sound cooperates. We'll give you a little kind of flavor. So this is to say we can be kind of fun and creative when we need to be. I'm sure you're asking yourselves, why are we here beyond Colin's presentation? One of the things that we're here to do is help you create a cost-effective way to increase the way in which you write more business, I should say. To raise your awareness and reposition KIG, or the brand, I should say, in your efforts to support more business. I guess Mark used the analogy, a rising tide floats all boats.
I made that up.
You did? On the way here.
Yep.
To raise the prominence of the KIG brand in the eyes of carriers that you write business with as well. To help you differentiate yourselves from your competitors, obviously that's a big part of your everyday business. And to help you grow. So, while what you're going to see is fun and creative and unique and all that stuff, it's founded on the idea that it has a purpose, and its purpose is to help you grow your businesses. Why are you here? It's time to take your marketing to the next level, to make it more creative, which means it'll be more noticeable, which means it'll be more memorable, which ultimately means it'll be more effective. Time to show your prospects that all independent agents are not the same. Because you can aggregate your buying power, the kind of buying power that you use with your carriers, the same way here to create a really cost-effective, professional advertising and marketing program. And because of the help of KIG, you don't have to necessarily be big to look and play big. So what do we need to do? Colin mentioned the toolbox. That's our way of describing the set of tools that we have created that will be available to you, whether you use one of them, two of them, all of them, in any combination mix thereof, singularly at certain times. You'll have access to all the different tools in the toolbox. Make all those tools in all media easily accessible and easy to implement for you guys. We're going to work with you to ensure that whatever media or mediums that you purchase, whether it's print or broadcast, that you leverage that aggregated buying power. Again, whether it's something that we help you with or you do it on your own as a group in your local geographies. And again, to help you reap the benefits of a good, solid, well-implemented marketing and advertising program, which will help you grow your business. So what do you need to do? Present a message that is accessible, meaningful, and memorable. Compel people in your communities and markets to be talking about you when they see this, when they see something that's creative. I'm sure you guys know that if you see the latest AOL ad, it sparks your memory, stays in your memory, I should say, that next day at the office you talk about it with your friends, or if you're out golfing with your buddies, whatever it is, it sticks with you. So that memorable aspect of advertising is extremely important. Leverage your Keystone affiliations for its power, prominence, and prestige. Let your prospects know that they can have a better insurance experience through you guys. We're told that, or so to say, it's been our experience working with different insurance entities that, whether it's personal lines or commercial lines, people tend to change carriers or agents when they have a negative experience, an incident of some kind. So in order to help promote your level of service and the way in which you differentiate yourselves, we need to get that message out there and communicate that. So, what's the first job of any good advertising program? Colin? I meant this to be interactive. I don't want to preach up here. Come on. Stop and engage the reader. You can't stop somebody, as evidenced by the little Urconic skit. If you can't stop somebody and let them look and see, make them look and see your message, it becomes that noise in your morning paper, or it's a drive-by that you pay no attention to. So how do we do that? What's the best way to do that? Well, there's three good ways to do that. Sex, humor, statistics. This is insurance. We probably can't use sex. Oh, we could. I knew this was sex always. Humor is always good, right? You guys remember the funniest commercial of 2002, or the soon-to-be funniest of 2003. Statistics, boring as hell, don't want to go that route, although it does help out. So where do we start? Or where do we start? How about the grocery store checkout line? one of our creative directors was given the assignment to work on this project. And he came back to the office after lunch and he said, you know, art really does imitate life. I was standing there with my lunch to check out and I saw this headline, owner claims alien intervention. And he said, it came to me, the whole concept for the whole program. So he turned that into the first ad, which is kind of a spoof on, you know, Star, the Inquirer. Sweet things that you'll notice about the ad. Importantly here, local business insurance rates plunge. This is intended to be a commercial lines insurance ad. And you'll see how we've sort of broken it up into the ads, into four distinct categories. A personal lines ad, a commercial lines ad, a Keystone brand ad, and a Keystone financial services ad. So the idea here is that the Keystone name gets lots of prominence. The tagline underneath there is hard to read. It says, a better insurance experience. And depending on the agency, depending on how you promote your brand, whether it's your Conic or Kunkel or Mitchell or anybody else, your logo goes in the lower right-hand corner. Now, that ad in a newspaper kind of looks like this. Again, we sort of comped it up in one of your local papers, and you can see when you look at that ad, it jumps right off at you. You look at that face, who cannot stop and look at that? So, what does it do? First thing it does is it stops the reader. And if you can stop the reader, you'll incent them to read on to understand what your message or value proposition is. So that's ad number one, commercial lines insurance. Again, continuing the same theme is number two. Local household lowers insurance costs. Husband in state of delirium, wife seen shopping, kids unfazed. So that's a headline from the Daily Trib. I'm going to ask Mark to read a little bit of copy on it.
Oh, wait a minute. I got another one there. I'll just read the photo caption says, although looking completely unscathed, neighbors wondered aloud how the Dribble family managed to lower their homeowners insurance rates while maintaining full coverage. Local Keystone Insurance Agency is believed to be responsible.
So the subhead, for those of you who can't read it, getting better service and a lower premium on your insurance sounds like big news to us. And since you can find us right here in your neighborhood, it's another reason why there's no place like home. Call us today for a free quote. So here's Kunkel again. And by the way, Kunkel and your kind got no kickbacks for this.
Yeah.
Okay, just got to be the business cards we had on file. So again, simple, bold, straightforward, personalized ad, and here's how it looks in the newspaper. Again, when you're competing with other advertising on a page, you have to stand out, you have to be noticeable, and you have to dominate the page. Otherwise, it's those little tiny retail ads that you see in newsprint and magazines, which very often is just flipped past. So that's a personalized ad. Then there's the financial service ad. Money Talks, holds local press conference, gives area agency the go-ahead. I knew they were really interested in what I had to say. Mark.
Money announced today that it was establishing a corporate bond with Keystone Insurers Group. The arrangement will allow the KIG group of independent insurance agents to offer their customers a complete portfolio of financial service products. I knew I'd find a group that would be really interested in what I have to say, said Money.
Read that last one. That's pretty funny. Just read that last sentence. Next sentence.
Money, a longtime supporter of being distributed equally, was eager to provide its wealth of opportunities to commercial businesses within the state. Through KIG's extensive network of independent insurance agents, Money found a distribution channel through which it could base offerings such as guaranteed issue life insurance, disability income, long-term care, and pension planning.
So it's noticeable, but it still has the message. It's still trying to make a point. It's still trying to get your value proposition and your sales message across. Again, you can see it on a page, and you can see how it sort of takes over that page with the simplicity, the way it's laid out, the graphics, the headline, etc. So that's a financial services ad. Then there's sort of a Keystone brand ad, which basically is brand aid. How the Keystone Insurers Group is aiding local agencies in their campaign to provide better service and more competitive pricing. There is truth in advertising. We may not make headlines, but as a member of the Keystone Insurers Group, you're looking for better rates and better service. You need to look no further than us. Not convinced? Call us today for a free quote. So this one can work as sort of a general ad without necessarily promoting the commercial lines product or the personal lines product. So that's a 4-ad series which will be available in the toolbox. Next, oops, there it is in print, sorry. Next is a trifold number 10 mailer, which we have some samples of around, which we'll be able to show you. But that's those long, we call them Slim Jims, the trifolds. Chris has one here, which we'll send around. And on the cover, again, with the idea that, consistent with the idea that we need to be graphically create something that stops people that they'll really look at. They're out there. Better insurance rates, better service, sound financial planning, available from your local Keystone Insurers Group agent. So this is that flap over on the number 10 brochure, and the inside spread looks like this, and it ties in, again, the different messages that are created in the ads. So, as part of the toolkit, not only are there 4 ads, there's number 10 trifold brochures and a point of sale display for those. Neighbors added again, getting better insurance rates and service from neighborhood Keystone Insurers Group. So again, the graphics, the boldness, the idea is that each agency was getting 20 displays to put out in different places in your geography, the local gym, the video store, whatever it is. Anybody that'll actually let you put the POS out there, help get the name, the brand, and your individual agency out there. Mark and Chris will pass some of these around so you can take a look at them. Don't try to read some of the inside copy. We call it Greek in the business. Doesn't mean anything. Then we've also come up with a CD, packaged mailer. And consistent again, sort of the Daily Tribune cover, the we're out there, the they're out there message, and the they're out there are better insurance rates, better insurance service, sound financial planning, all available from your Keystone Insurers Group agent. And the idea here is that this is sort of a little brochure. It kind of replaces the traditional 4-page pocket folder. Am I bombing? You're leaving? So this kind of replaces that brochure. And the contents of that CD can and will be a presentation on who and what Keystone Insurers Group is and what it means. A lot of the information would be in a corporate marketing collateral brochure. It would be something that you could use to give to a new commercial lines prospect. Maybe there's a big opportunity out there and you want to help credentialize yourself. You could mail it to them. It could precede a sales call. It could be handed out at a local insurance convention, whatever you see fit. Then there's some outdoor advertising as well. So we've used, again, the same general ideas. Local insurance rates, local business insurance rates plunge, owner recovering nicely. In outdoor, it's got to be simple, straightforward, and it's got to stop somebody. So the body copy in the torn newspaper means nothing. It's essentially just the headline, the logo, and then the individual agency. So obviously that's the commercial lines outdoor ad. Personal lines, also Lowe's insurance costs, husband delirious, wife shopping, kids unfazed. That gets noticed. how many billboards do you drive by every day and have no idea what they were? And you know, billboard companies, they count every drive-by as an impression. And you know, when you go to buy outdoor, they trump those numbers up and make it sound like, my God, the number of impressions are enormous. Except that most of us are on cell phones, playing with a CD player, and completely not paying attention to most outdoor advertising. The good stuff gets noticed. So again, in the toolbox, we've got 4 ads, direct mail brochures, POS, CD, and 2 different billboards, outdoor advertising. Then we came up with some TV ideas, some broadcasts for those of you that do engage in or would consider using television. Local cable buys are not all that expensive. The per spot cost is relatively low. We can help you with the lighting, the time to run that. And these 2 spots that you're going to see are, again, what we call comps. They were done in the agency, all edited on, where's my Mac guy? All done on the Mac, just to show you the idea for concept. So this is the idea for the personal lines spot.
The dentist says Billy needs braces.
Oh.
Amy's getting her license.
Oh. Oh.
Lower insurance rates and better service sound like good news to you? Give us a call.
So the idea here is 15-second spots. We're going to create 4 of them, all tied together with the outdoor, all consistent messaging. Those 15-second spots can be run individually. They can be bolted together as a 30. They can be mixed and matched with, this is obviously the personal lines ad. They can be mixed and matched to run in any combination that you see fit if you decide to do them as 30s. Commercial lines TV spot, tying into the commercial lines print.
I'm telling you, boss, that's the truth.
Can't be.
I saw him do it.
It's not humanly possible.
He did it right here in the office. Interested in a closing counter with lower insurance rates and better service? Give us a call.
Simple, straightforward, uncluttered, direct, not telling the whole story, just very straightforward and simple. By creating 15s instead of 30s, it gives the opportunity to run more frequently. It gives you an opportunity to get more broadcast out there instead of less. So, I talked about the toolkit. Here's a sort of a synopsis of what that toolkit really is. 4 15-second TV spots, commercial lines, personal lines, Keystone brand, and personal financial services. 4 consumer print ads, again, the same 4 topics. 2 insurance trade prints ad, which can and will potentially run in things like Rough Note, American Agent Broker, and Agent. We're also going to create 4 15-second radio spots from the TV. Now that's not just yanking voiceover out of the TV and running it. They have to be rewritten and re-recorded so that they actually function and work as radio. 2 billboards, 20 point-of-sale displays for each agency, 2,000 number 10 brochures to each agency, the interactive CD presentation, which quantity-wise per agency comes out to somewhere between 50 and 100 per agency. The capabilities brochure really is the CD sleeve, so the interactive CD and the brochure work together. And then we were playing with the idea of a web header template, which would mean those of you that have a website and that would agree to tie in the Keystone brand, that we would just simply create kind of an overview eyebrow header template that your existing website would work with, and just sort of tuck underneath the overall header in an effort to continue and perpetuate the overall Keystone brand.
No, let me give this a check. I want to go with you.
Toolkit pricing. As you probably know, geography, et cetera, but divided equally amongst all Keystone agencies is $2,800. as I mentioned earlier, we can help negotiate media, we can help negotiate or modify the toolkit to fit your individual needs, but at the end of the day, as Mr. O'Brien wrote, rising tide floats all boats. So now you're sitting there saying, that's pretty cool. Those guys are pretty good. And it didn't cost a lot of money. Where's Buster's? Yeah, right. So you're thinking, now what do I do? Simple. Each one of you are going to get Mark is going to pass out
He's just going to pass out.
an electronic copy of the presentation. It's this PowerPoint presentation.
Hey, Chris, put
It's
one
got
in my
most of the
spot.
contents in it. You can go back and look at it, talk amongst yourselves about it, and show it around. Any questions that we don't answer today, there's a business card on the back of that. You can contact myself or Mark or Chris or any of us, and we can answer any questions you might have individually. We'd like you to let Keystone know of your intent to participate by October 17th. I believe that's a Friday. But we think that, given the direction that we're taking, that we get some idea of consensus on the 17th. That'll give us an idea of where to head from there. And along the way, those of you interested can remit your checks made out to David Biker.
Yeah.
I knew it. Exactly. Somewhere around the 31st. So, thank you for your time. I'm going to take questions, and then we're going to have a wrap. You know, we talked in broad terms with David and Colin about that, and I guess it depends. Each one of you decide you really are going to participate, and we can go out and buy media en masse so that we can sandwich those geographies in place, and we can do it at one time. It's going to be that much more cost effective. So the answer to the question is maybe. It would not be a gross. In our business, there's two different kinds of media purchases, gross and net. Gross means you pay us 15% on top of what you would normally buy. We're not intending to do that. If there was a fee, Martino and Vinzer fee, it would be just our time to help you execute that media plan based on what you intend to spend. And I should say that we do not bill by the hour. So if you came to us and said, I want to spend $10,000 between now and June of 2004 in media, you would get an estimate that says, here's what's going to cost for us to do that media portion for you. Mr. Accounting.
Yeah, real quick, if you're buying radio, the station's going to pay you, right?
If we do it gross. There's gross and there's net. Gross is marked up. So if it's $100 per spot, typical agency relationship is 15% on top of that. Or, we can do it either way, quite honestly. Typically what we do is we don't mark out, we just charge a fee for the service. Either way.
But we can go out and negotiate our own deal.
Absolutely can be.
One.
Yep. If you have relationships with your current cable station, if you're actually doing TV of any kind right now, sure, go right ahead. We'll be happy to eyeball that plan for you and give you our opinion. Not going to charge you for that. Yes, sir.
How often do you freshen this material up?
My material?
Yes.
My Martino Vinzer marketing material?
Yes.
For real? It's a loaded question.
No, I'm
Are you talking about yours, the stuff we created for you?
specifically. I mean,
Well,
if I run
okay.
this
Good point.
non-stop for a year, I mean, it's going to get old. So.
Well, that's true. But the fact of the matter is, there's really two distinct aspects of our business that are important for you to understand. One is what we refer to as the packaging side, and the other is the distribution. The packaging is everything that you saw right now. It's the creation of the materials. And obviously those materials have to be crafted and created in a way that makes them effective. The distribution side is how you get that out into the marketplace. So, frequency of message is an important aspect of any good, successful marketing program. So, yeah, you don't want it to get long in the tooth, old, and invisible. But there's a period of time there, depending on the total number of impressions, how often you run something, where you can look at something and say, I can get a good, year and a half out of this if I'm using sort of an average metric of impressions. So it really would depend on each agency and how often you run the stuff.
And you would kind of,
We can coach you through on that, absolutely.
great.
Absolutely. Some agencies may advertise only in the local high school football program or a playbill or things like that. You might not necessarily want to spend the money to go out into the general mass media marketplace. In that case, the message is not going to get nearly as old, as quick as if you were running a full-blown campaign and it was measured over, 6 months or a year. Mr. Kilmer.
Did you think about making direct mail a part of the toolbox?
It is. The direct mail can consist of one of two things. The POS displays are intended to house the actual number 10 mailers. That's not going to be 2,000 pieces. So the idea here is whatever the balance is can be utilized for direct as well, the trifolds. Now, again, direct is an extremely effective medium. You have to know your customer. You have to know where they are and have those lists. The single most important aspect of direct marketing is not necessarily the mailer, it's the list. It's making sure that you're not spending a bunch of money to print things and send them out to have a bunch of returns come in. So the 2,000 pieces is variable. If some of you said to us, I love that thing and it's going to be terrific, but I want to use that direct marketing, that trifold, and I want to send out that piece once a quarter. We just factor that into the printing. Once the presses are running, it's incremental dollars for the paper, essentially. So you can have the flexibility to add to this. That's not going to be included in the 2,800. But if you said to me, I want an extra 5,000 pieces, it's 2,800 plus the additional 5,000 pieces.
There's one other piece that I think might help, though, would be the mail house that does work.
The fulfillment?
Yeah, that would be not so as, it wouldn't be dependent on local. We could use one mail house.
Absolutely.
To do the whole
Yep.
thing. So it would seem like we get a lot
Yep.
of synergy.
Absolutely. Yeah. No doubt. Mr. Yacon.
Two comments and a question. One is, for those of you that do or don't do a lot of marketing, that $2,800 price, when I saw that, I just spent probably about $10,000 on lobby design stuff, because I use an ad agency, and that's probably one of the most economical ways we will get into some professional advertising. And I'm just thinking how we've branded ourselves for 7 years, what we do, and I was fascinated by that. I'm thinking, okay, how do I transition into this stuff? Because anything, like I said, that stops and gets attention, which this stuff does, and what I've been trying to figure out how to do with an ad agency is really brilliant. The second comment is, if we do embark on this, what Todd was leading into, is we as a group probably should commit a monthly fee built into whatever we pay, and negotiate it with them, that we keep refreshing this on a yearly basis, that maybe our carrier meeting, the toolbox grows, it adds things in, and this is going to be an evolving thing over 5, 10, 15 years, and we can do this at a fraction of the cost that any one of us, and Bob Seltzer and Bruce will know, thousands of dollars. And I see this and think, oh shit, I just did a TV commercial and spent $6,000 designing a TV commercial, and I could have just had it for $2,800 in order to save some money.
And you would have 4 of them.
And, right, I mean, it's something as a group, we have some inner experience within the group if we need to know how to define and whatever, you can do it. Last thing is the website. Can you be a little more clear on the web header? What does that bring? Are you just talking just the front page layout, or are we going to get some functionality with that? Like I kind of discussed earlier, like you're going to have the database of all our companies and our links, so you can build pages.
We didn't go that far, John, with it. And initially, in an effort to kind of stay hands-off to individual websites, we envisioned it as just a template for the header. But again, we're a full-service shop. There's 20 of us over there. We do all kinds of web stuff all day long. If your individual website needs work, we can help you with that. We can help you embed that kind of functionality into it if you like.
But going from the cost effectiveness, if we can get a 10, 15 page, 20 page website option for everybody, if you start talking to me and I pay, I'm not getting the big bang for the buck.
Well, don't forget, a website really is and can be a group of individual websites. So let's use this as an example. I know that John has multiple businesses. If you were to create a singular, let's call it a singular Keystone website template, it might have, for the sake of discussions, 10, 12 pages of general information, maybe 6 pages of general information. List of carriers, links to those carrier sites, a map of each individual location, contact information, links to email, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you kind of still can't have a button on there that says, link out to his tag business or some other financial service business that he's offering. So it doesn't need to be all-inclusive. It doesn't need to dominate what you're doing right now. It certainly can be part of the program. We didn't factor it into this. It's a great idea. I'm not sure how many people actually have websites out there and how effective they are for you. Oh, somebody else, I saw another hand somewhere. Tony.
Is there a way on the bottom that's where we put our own heading that we can leave a template for some of our companies? We have 4 companies today ask us about or tell us they have co-op advertising. We'll
Sure
leave a template on there for them to defray some of our costs.
Absolutely. That could be done.
As far as the actual running of that.
Well, the fact of the matter is the architecture of these ads is such that we intentionally left, lots of white space so that if you have to get another logo in there or rearrange the bottom half of it, it's done intentionally for that purpose. Ads that are, full bleed and everything's all, you have to try to jam logos in there, just looks like a mess. So that would be easy.
Hey, David.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Dean's got a question, too?
While this one's up here, I know one of the companies that.
Well, Conkle's up there. You want to make a
Well,
statement?
that's why he's standing up. Dave Frankel at Donegal the other day had talked a lot about co-op advertising. With your experience with Mr. Frankel and Donegal, would they buy into an ad like this where they would co-op an ad like that and be satisfied with just throwing Donegal insurance in there? Travelers. This question.
I doubt that Donegal would. I think that other companies would consider it as long as their logo is right there with it. But I doubt Donegal would. What do you think, Rich?
Well, I think I'm through, actually, Natalie and I both did a direct mail piece, but not in co-op, but we initially tried to get Donegal to approve our copy. It ended up where we really...
Well, when you start promoting yourself and creating an image of something that is way above and beyond what any of us are individually, you can't imagine the power that you will reap from that 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road. And I'm not talking about taking $1 premium from a client. I'm talking about resources that will be attracted to you that you currently can't attract because you're not perceived by them to be a Fortune 500 company. But you begin to continue to market yourself and position yourself as that type of an entity, and I'm telling you, doors are going to open that we didn't even know existed. So with that, I want to thank you for...
Jim says he's having enough.
Close. I'm closing. Did you hear that? With that, I want to thank you. That's usually a preamble to close. Who went to an awful lot of work. And by the way, guys, with the exception of the money that we've invested, these guys have put a lot of their own personal time at risk here on the opportunity because they're enormously attractive.
All right. Who's got the raffle tickets? Mark? Mark. your tickets? Yes, we do. This is the... Okay. Excuse me? I'm sorry. You're going to see it. Hang on. Grab the first prize. First prize is I should say, fourth prize is a Martino Windsor hat. Oh, 51.
47905.
Can you speak up?
You got it? There you go. Second prize is a repeat of the first prize.
It's a different hat.
It's a different hat, though.
479011. 11.
Dave Bailey. Hey, Dave, let's get into the good stuff.
Nice. Next prize is a Martino and Windsor briefcase.
Ooh.
479053. I think Tom Robbins is one too.
This is something really special. We worked long and hard on this one.
Plain brown wrapper.
And we're going to throw the winners that got the other prizes back in the hat. This is really something special.
If it's Tom's number, I'm throwing it back.
Go ahead. Yeah, the winner has to come up, by the way, to accept.
People like you.
479018.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, Ross!
It's a gift certificate.
Keystone Insurance Group is proud to bestow upon the bearer of this certificate the first annual Dinner with David Award.
I'm going to flip it around after he's done
Special
it.
health benefits including EMT service, ambulance transportation, and one complimentary stomach pumping provided to the winner and the winner's dinner's guest as part of this award. The winner and the guest will be required to sign a waiver before dinner. Event My Dinner with David, place, the Botkers, date, winner's choice, presented September 25th, 2003.
There's no selling this one. This is Rod's.
December 31st, okay?
Works for me, Ron. Mi casa, su casa.
Thanks. All right, any other questions? That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
I will do that. All right.
We should get a picture of that. Where's that?
No, it's already done.
Oh, yeah?
The radio spot. We already did one.
Where's that? You can take one and email it to us, can't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it like this.
You bet. There we go. Like it. All right, hold on. Good.
Got it?
Got it.
All right.
Got it.
Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have to bring my commercials. Maybe I'll give them to you guys.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Make sure we get a card from you, too.
Excellent.
All right.
What'd you think, sir?
Very nice.
Good. Chris, by the way.
Mike Kilmer.
Hi, Mike. Good. Good. I'm glad.
I'm just going to ask David if
Sure.
if he's thought about what participation percentage is necessary to make this all work.
Well, we're shooting for the works, so I don't think we're going to have much of an issue. You know, there have been other models proposed, but you know, the more people that do it, the more cost-effective it is for everyone. So
I missed the final focus group session, but another thought would have been to take the cost and try and skew it by or weight it by agencies.
we've tried that. In fact, you should talk to Colin about that. The differences. The differences are almost immaterial. I think what we came down to. Let me